What if I told you that the financial breakthrough you've been praying for is not sitting in the bank, not locked behind a promotion, and not waiting in some lottery ticket, but hidden in a single psalm of Scripture? What if I told you that this one psalm has the power to magnetize money into your hands, dissolve financial struggles, and open doors you thought were permanently closed? And what if I told you that this blessing isn't somewhere out in the distant future, but it's hovering over you right now, waiting for your faith to activate it? In just a few moments, I'm going to share with you the exact psalm that shifts your financial destiny. And I promise you, by the time we reach the last point of this message, your entire perspective on wealth, faith, and divine supply will be transformed forever. So don't miss a second watch until the very end, because that final revelation might just change your life. If this message has touched your heart today, I encourage you, do not keep it to yourself. Share your testimony in the comments below, so others may be blessed by your faith. And if you have not yet, I urge you, subscribe to this channel, so together we may continue to grow in the Word of God and in the power of the Holy Spirit. When you like this video, you are spreading the gospel further, bringing hope and healing to many lives. The spoken word creates reality. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Long before you and I took our first breath, long before coins were minted, long before paper carried the face of kings, there was sound, there was vibration. There was the Word moving through the invisible shaping form, commanding order, bringing light into the void. The ancient text tells us that God spoke and worlds were framed. He said, "Let there be light," and there was light. The universe did not resist. Creation did not argue. The darkness did not debate. The Word was spoken and manifestation bowed to it. From this eternal truth flows the principle. What is spoken in faith becomes the architecture of one's destiny. When you speak tonight, you are not just reading a psalm as though it were ink on paper or sound on your lips. You are calling forth unseen forces to arrange themselves in harmony with your decree. Your words are seeds cast into the soil of the subconscious, and the subconscious does not argue. It does not resist. It does not analyze. It accepts. And the moment you speak the word, the soil of your inner being begins to germinate, to move, to bring forth after its kind. If you speak poverty, the soil brings forth lack. If you speak fear, the soil brings forth limitation. But when you speak the word of God, when you declare His psalm in faith, the soil must bring forth abundance, because divine law is irrevocable. Consider the breath that leaves your lips as sacred currency. Each word is not wasted air, but a coin cast into the treasury of heaven. When you murmur complaint, you spend your wealth on ashes. When you repeat worry, you invest in loss. But when you declare the psalm of abundance, when you proclaim, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want," you are making a deposit into the bank of eternity, and interest begins to accumulate. The word carries its own power. You do not have to strive. You do not have to wrestle. You only have to speak and believe. The word performs its own work, just as a seed performs its own miracle in the soil. It is not ritual. It is not superstition. It is law. Just as gravity pulls the apple to the ground, just as the tide obeys the moon, so too does the word bring forth its own harvest. When you read the psalm tonight, you align your voice with the vibration of heaven, and heaven cannot deny itself. Divine truth rushes to fulfill the sound that mirrors its nature, and wealth, which has always been present in the unseen, begins to take shape in the seen. Money that once seemed elusive begins to flow. Opportunities that once felt hidden begin to reveal themselves. Doors that once were locked begin to open, not because you pushed, but because you spoke. You see, creation responds not to your striving, but to your sound. You can work and toil, sweat and worry, exhaust yourself with effort, yet see little fruit. But when your word aligns with divine law, the fruit begins to multiply of its own accord. It is like the farmer who SWS in silence, and overnight the earth brings forth blades, stalks, and grain. The farmer does not understand how, but he trusts the law of seed time and harvest. So it is with the spoken word. You need not understand the mechanics of how money will come or through whom it will arrive. You need only release the word, and divine law carries it on wings unseen, arranging circumstances, stirring hearts, opening streams until wealth finds its way to you. The word you speak tonight is not ordinary. It is charged with divine authority. When you declare the psalm, you are not simply echoing ancient poetry. You are echoing the creative voice of God Himself. That same voice that commanded stars into being now flows through your tongue, clothed in your sound, carried on your breath. You become a co-creator with the infinite, shaping the landscape of your tomorrow. Heaven hears, earth responds, and wealth obeys. Have you not noticed how words spoken in anger can wound the soul for years? How words of encouragement can lift a weary heart in moments? If mortal words have such power to alter emotions, how much greater is the power of divine words spoken in faith? They are not mere vibrations in the air. They are living forces sharper than any two-edged sword, cutting through doubt, piercing through lack, separating you from the lie of limitation, and binding you to the truth of abundance. When you read the psalm tonight, imagine your words as arrows of light, piercing the darkness of financial fear, cutting through the fog of uncertainty, striking the very heart of lack until it dissolves with every verse. See chains of debt falling from your hands with every declaration. See rivers of provision flowing toward you. For the word does not return void. It accomplishes that which it is sent to do. When you speak, you are sending it forth like a messenger on assignment, and it cannot fail to deliver wealth into your experience. The subconscious mind is like fertile earth, and at night it is most open, most receptive, most impressionable. That is why the word spoken before sleep carries extraordinary power. As your body rests, your spirit labors, and the word you have sown continues to germinate in silence. Angels move on your behalf. Divine law operates while you slumber. The psalm becomes a vibration in your very being, harmonizing your spirit with prosperity, dissolving old patterns of lack, planting new patterns of wealth. And when the dawn breaks, you awaken not only with refreshed strength, but with a field of opportunities, already ripened, waiting for your harvest. Do not underestimate the power of repetition. Each night you speak the word, you reinforce the pattern of abundance. Each declaration engraves prosperity deeper into the fabric of your soul. And just as a sculptor chisels stone little by little until the masterpiece is revealed, so too does your spoken word chisel away the rough edges of doubt until the masterpiece of wealth stands before you. The psalm becomes not just something you read, but something you embody, something you breathe, something you live. The moment you open your mouth in faith, invisible currents begin to shift. What was once withheld is released. What was once blocked is opened. What was once distant is drawn near. For sound is not bound by walls, nor hindered by time, nor silenced by distance. Your word travels through realms seen and unseen, touching hearts, opening doors, commanding wealth to appear. And wealth must obey, for it is a servant of divine law. It does not resist those who align with the word. It comes willingly, eagerly, abundantly. So tonight, as you lift your voice and declare the psalm, remember, you are not reciting. You are creating. You are not hoping. You are commanding. You are not pleading. You are aligning. The word that leaves your lips tonight will not die in the air. It will live, it will move, it will manifest. It will call wealth out of the invisible and usher it into your visible life. For the spoken word creates reality, money as divine energy. Money is often mistaken for coins, paper, or digits on a screen. People chase it, fear it, hoard it, or resent it. But few pause long enough to understand what money truly is. Money in its essence is not material. It is spiritual substance, divine energy clothed in form. It is a symbol, a representation of circulation, a visible manifestation of an invisible current, just as electricity flows through wires and lights a lamp. Money flows through channels and illuminates a life. It is not the source itself, but the evidence of the source. To reduce money to numbers in a bank account is to misunderstand its nature. To see it as divine energy is to reclaim the power that so many have surrendered to fear and lack. All things visible are born from the invisible. Before a coin is minted, the energy of wealth exists. Before a paycheck is signed, the supply already is. Money is not created in the mind of man. It is revealed through the divine substance of the universe. That is why the psalm, when spoken, does not bring wealth from nothing. It awakens you to the wealth that has always been. You may not see it with natural eyes, but it is as real as the air you breathe. The psalm aligns you with that energy, clearing away the mental blocks that keep you blind to supply, opening the door for money to flow into your experience in visible ways. This divine energy is not limited by geography, time, or circumstance. It does not matter whether you live in a village or a city, whether the economy is booming or declining, whether opportunities seem plenty or few. Money as divine energy responds not to the conditions outside of you, but to the vibration within you. When your inner state is aligned with abundance, money must come. When your inner state is filled with fear, money slips away. The psalm spoken with faith raises your vibration to match the frequency of wealth. It harmonizes your inner energy with the divine current of prosperity. And in that harmony, money begins to appear, often through channels you never expected. Think of water flowing down a mountain. It moves naturally, effortlessly, without hesitation. It does not stop to ask permission, nor does it worry about scarcity. It finds its way around rocks, slips through cracks, carves valleys, and eventually reaches the ocean. Money, as divine energy, moves in the same way. It is circulation. It is designed to flow. When you resist it with fear, doubt, or unworthiness, it pulls up and stagnates. When you open to it with faith, gratitude, and expectancy, it rushes toward you, seeking you out, eager to fulfill its purpose. The psalm, when spoken at night, loosens the stones of resistance and clears the channels, allowing money to flow freely once more. There is a reason why worry and struggle never produce lasting wealth. When you chase money as though it were a thing outside of you, you operate in separation. You see money as distant, elusive, perhaps even hostile. But when you understand that money is divine energy, already present within the fabric of your life, you shift from chasing to attracting. You no longer strive to possess. You allow yourself to receive. The psalm becomes not a plea, but a declaration of alignment. It reminds you that you are part of divine circulation. That supply is your birthright. And that energy clothed in the form of money is eager to reach you. Money is energy, but it also carries vibration. It responds to the vibration with which it is handled. When money is feared, it shrinks. When it is hoarded in anxiety, it loses circulation. When it is cursed, it resists. But when money is blessed, honored, and recognized as divine, it multiplies. The psalm shifts your relationship with money. Instead of seeing it as scarce, you begin to see it as abundant. Instead of fearing its absence, you begin to trust its presence. Instead of clutching at it with desperation, you begin to handle it with gratitude. This shift in vibration transforms money from a burden into a servant, from a worry into a blessing, from a chain into a key. There are those who have worked tirelessly, yet remain poor, and others who have spoken little but live in abundance. The difference lies not in effort, but in alignment. To see money as mere matter is to limit it to human effort. To see money as divine energy is to tap into a limitless source. Energy cannot be destroyed, it can only change form. So too with money. Even when it leaves your hand, it is not gone. It circulates, it returns, it multiplies. The psalm spoken at night plants this truth into your consciousness, replacing the fear of loss with the assurance of circulation. You no longer cling, for you know the flow will return. You no longer despair, for you know divine energy cannot run out. You no longer envy, for you know the same source that supplies others supplies you abundantly. Imagine money as light. It shines through different lamps, but the electricity behind it is the same. Whether it arrives as a paycheck, a gift, a business idea, or an unexpected opportunity, it is all the same divine energy clothed in different garments. When you declare the psalm, you are not dictating how the money should come. You are opening yourself to the infinite ways it can appear. You release the need to control the channel and instead trust the source. This trust removes the strain of striving and replaces it with a peace of expectancy. And in that expectancy, money begins to flow. For it is drawn to faith as surely as metal is drawn to a magnet. Too long has money been treated as a master, feared as an oppressor, or desired as an idol. In truth, money is none of these. It is a servant, a symbol, a vessel of divine energy. When you place it in its rightful position, you free yourself from bondage to it. You no longer fear losing it because you know energy cannot be lost. You no longer idolize it because you know it is not the source but the channel. You no longer resent it because you know it is designed to bless, not to curse. The psalm restores this rightful perspective. Each verse reorients your heart, dissolves old lies, and awakens you to the truth. Money is divine energy, and as such, it flows to you naturally, abundantly, without resistance. And just as the body thrives when circulation is strong, so too does life thrive when money circulates freely. To block it with fear is to cut off the blood flow of prosperity. To release it with faith is to open the veins of abundance. The psalm spoken in the stillness of night is a divine prescription, a medicine for the soul, a prayer that heals the flow of wealth in your life. It quiets the anxious mind, calms the fearful heart, and aligns you once more with the truth of divine circulation. And as you rest, that circulation begins to manifest, weaving opportunities, drawing connections, preparing blessings until money clothed in form makes its way into your life as naturally as tide returns to the shore. The psalm as a key of release. There are hidden codes woven into the sacred text, words that carry vibrations not of man's invention but of divine origin. A psalm is not just poetry or history, it is a spiritual formula, a key designed to unlock doors that seem sealed. Within every line is energy, and within every word is a seed of transformation. When you read a psalm with faith, especially at night, when the conscious mind quiets and the subconscious is most receptive, you are not simply reciting verses. You are turning the key in a lock that has long kept your wealth, peace, and abundance behind closed doors. The psalm is the key of release, the spiritual instrument by which you open what was shut, dissolve what was bound, and free what has always belonged to you. Many live in cages of lack, and though the bars are invisible, they are real. These cages are built not of steel, but of fear, doubt, unworthiness, and limitation. A man may work all his life and yet feel as though he is pushing against unseen walls, never able to break through to the freedom he longs for. The truth is, no amount of striving can break those bars, for they are not physical, they are spiritual in nature. and only a spiritual key can release them. That key is the Word, and the Psalms are among the purest expressions of that Word. Each verse holds within it the vibration of divine law. And when spoken in faith, the very sound begins to dismantle the prison of lack, loosening the chains and opening the door to prosperity. When you read a psalm, you align yourself with eternal truth. And truth, by its very nature, sets free. Freedom is not something you create. It is something you uncover. Abundance is not something you invent. It is something you release. The psalm does not put wealth into your life. It releases wealth from the realm of spirit into the realm of matter. Imagine a river dammed up, its waters pressing, waiting, longing to flow. The psalm is the key that lifts the gate, and instantly the waters rush forth, unstoppable, abundant, generous. Wealth has always been pressing at the edges of your life, but doubt, fear, and unconscious patterns have held the gate shut. The psalm spoken with faith releases the gate, and what was dammed up begins to flow towards you with power and force. There is a reason why so many find peace in the Psalms, even in times of despair. It is not merely comfort, it is release. The words carry frequencies that untangle the knots of fear and open space for divine circulation. When you declare, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want," you are not merely affirming that God will provide. You are turning the key of release, canceling the lie of lack, unlocking the storehouse of divine supply. You are releasing wealth, releasing peace, releasing opportunity. The psalm is more than prayer, it is activation. Think of a locked chest filled with treasure, sealed for years. People may walk by it, admire it, even rest upon it. But without the key, the treasure remains untouchable. So it is with wealth. It's all around you, pressed into the invisible, waiting for release. The psalm is that key. With every line you read, with every declaration of faith, you turn the lock a little further until the chest bursts open and treasures hidden in darkness flood into your experience. You do not create the treasure, you release it. You do not manufacture the supply, you reveal it. The psalm acts as a bridge between the unseen and the seen, between the eternal storehouse and your daily life. At night, when silence drapes the world and your mind drifts toward rest, the psalm has unique power. For in that hour, the chatter of the mind grows still, the defenses of logic weaken, and the gates of the subconscious stand open. It is then that the psalm, spoken aloud or whispered with intention, enters deep, embedding itself into the fertile soil of your inner being. There it works unseen, undoing the locks of fear, dissolving the knots of resistance, and releasing currents of wealth that will manifest in the days to come. The night prayer is not lost in silence. It is amplified in the unseen, sent forth as a key to release what belongs to you. Every psalm carries a specific vibration. Some soothe, some protect, some heal, and some release abundance. When spoken, their vibration echoes into the spirit realm, where laws higher than human reasoning govern. These laws recognize the sound of truth and respond instantly. Just as a locked door yields to the right key, so does the realm of prosperity yield to the vibration of the sun. And what once seemed impossible, what once seemed out of reach, suddenly opens with ease because the correct key has been used. Consider this. The locks on your life were not placed there by God. The locks of lack, fear, and limitation are forged by false belief, hardened by worry, and secured by repetition of negative thought. But divine law has always provided the key. It was never God's intention for you to remain outside the storehouse of abundance. The Psalms are His keys placed in your hands, waiting only for your faith to turn them. The moment you speak them with belief, the locks must yield. For no lie can withstand the vibration of divine truth. Release is not dramatic. It is not always loud or sudden. Sometimes it is as subtle as a shift within, a quiet knowing, a gentle opening. And yet from that subtle shift, entire worlds of abundance can be released. You may wake the next morning to a new idea, a chance encounter, an unexpected gift, a door opening where once there was only a wall. These are not coincidences. They are the evidence of release. The psalm has done its work. The key has turned, and the treasure has begun to flow. The psalm also releases you from inner bondage. For what good is wealth if the soul remains enslaved to fear? The verses untangle the inner cords of anxiety, releasing peace, releasing joy, releasing courage. And as inner release comes, outer release follows. Money is no longer seen as a struggle or a master, but as a servant, a current, a tool of divine energy flowing freely into your hands. You no longer cling or chase. You allow. You no longer strive to force doors open. You speak the psalm and watch as they swing wide of their own accord. And so the psalm becomes both key and evidence of release. It is the action that turns the lock, and it is the peace that follows once the gate is open. Each verse spoken in faith is a step closer to freedom. Each declaration a twist of the key. Each word a loosening of the bolt until finally the door stands open. The prison dissolves, the treasure flows, and what was always yours is revealed at last. Faith cancels fear. Fear and faith cannot dwell in the same house. One expels the other. Where fear rules, faith is silent. And where faith rises, fear dissolves. They are two masters competing for the throne of your heart, and whichever you choose to serve will shape your experience of life. Fear binds, paralyzes, and contracts. Faith liberates, moves, and expands. Fear shuts doors and blinds eyes, while faith opens gates and clears paths. Fear whispers of scarcity, but faith sings of abundance. When you take the psalm upon your lips at night, you are not merely speaking words. You are choosing faith over fear, light over shadow, truth over illusion. Fear is a deceiver. It magnifies the illusion of lack, paints shadows larger than life, and convinces the mind that tomorrow is uncertain and unsafe. Fear speaks loudly of bills, debts, and closed doors, but offers no solution. It drains strength, steals peace, and tightens the grip of poverty. It whispers that you are unworthy, that abundance is for others but not for you. Fear chains the imagination to failure, binds the will to despair, and blinds the heart to opportunity. In this way, fear becomes a jailer, keeping men and women locked away from the wealth that is already theirs. But faith is a liberator. It unlocks vision, lifts the imagination, and fills the heart with courage. Faith does not deny circumstances. It transcends them. It looks at the empty purse and declares, "My supply is infinite." It sees the closed door and proclaims, "Another door shall open." It hears the whisper of lack and responds with the shout of abundance. Faith calls things that are not as though they are, and by its very nature calls them into being. Where fear binds, faith releases. Where fear contracts, faith expands. Where fear suffocates, faith breathes life. The psalm spoken at night is a declaration of faith. Each verse is a sword cutting through the fog of fear. Each line is a shield against the arrows of doubt. When you read the psalm, you are not pleading with the heavens. You are commanding your soul to believe. You are affirming the truth that cancels the lie of fear. You are reprogramming the inner mind, silencing the voice of lack and awakening the vibration of abundance. Fear may try to linger, but faith spoken consistently dissolves it like light dissolves darkness. Darkness does not fight against light. It simply vanishes. So too does fear vanish in the presence of faith-filled words. Night is the hour when fear often tries to rise. In the silence when the world grows still, the mind sometimes grows loud with worry. The bills echo in thought, the uncertainties magnify, and the imagination runs wild with pictures of loss. This is why the psalm at night is so powerful. It interrupts the voice of fear and replaces it with the vibration of truth. Instead of fear filling the subconscious as you drift into sleep, faith fills it. Instead of nightmares of lack, visions of abundance take root. And as you rest, faith continues to work, dissolving fear at its roots and planting seeds of prosperity deep in the soil of your being. Fear is always rooted in separation. It tells you that you are cut off from supply, that you are alone in your struggle, that the universe is against you. Faith restores the truth of connection. It reminds you that you are one with divine supply, that heaven is your source, that you are never abandoned. Fear looks at the bank account and sees emptiness. Faith looks at the infinite source and sees fullness. Fear clings tightly to what little it has, afraid to release. Faith knows that to release is to circulate, and to circulate is to multiply. Fear builds walls, but faith builds bridges. It is impossible to step into wealth while clinging to fear, for fear is contraction, and contraction cuts off circulation. Just as a clenched fist cannot receive, a fearful heart cannot attract. Faith, on the other hand, is open-handed, receptive, expansive. It creates space for money to flow in, for opportunities to appear, for blessings to manifest. Faith says, I expect good, and good rushes to meet it. Fear says, I expect loss, and loss comes running. The psalm retrains the tongue and the mind to expect good. Each verse is an expectation spoken aloud, a refusal to bow to fear, a declaration that abundance is the only truth. The difference between a fearful prayer and a faith-filled declaration is profound. A fearful prayer begs and pleads, rooted in the belief that God may not hear or may not provide. A faith-filled declaration, like the psalm, knows that provision is already given, that supply is already present, that wealth is already here. It does not plead, it affirms, it does not doubt, it proclaims. And in that proclamation, fear is silenced and abundance is released. Look at the way fear shrinks the world of those who serve it. A person afraid to spend becomes imprisoned by their own money. A person afraid to invest never grows. A person afraid to dream remains bound to the smallness of their present life. Fear shrinks possibilities until only survival remains, but faith expands possibilities. It dares to spend with gratitude, knowing that more shall return. It dares to invest, trusting that divine circulation multiplies. It dares to dream, believing that the unseen can become the seen. The psalm is the language of daring faith, the sound of expansion, the vibration of increase. When you read the psalm, imagine fear as shadows on a wall. The shadows appear large, monstrous even, but they are only cast by a small object held close to the light. The moment the light grows brighter, the shadows vanish. Fear is the same. It looms large in the imagination, but in the light of faith, it has no substance. The psalm is that light. With each verse spoken, the shadows dissolve, the room clears, and you see that abundance has been waiting all along. Fear blinded you, faith opens your eyes. Faith cancels fear not by argument but by presence. Just as a flame cancels darkness without effort, so does faith cancel fear simply by being. That is why it is so important to fill your life with the vibration of faith. To read the psalm aloud, to let its words echo through your room, To let its rhythm settle into your breath is to invite the presence of faith into every corner of your being. And in that presence, fear cannot dwell. It retreats, it dissolves, it disappears. And in its place, peace arises. And from peace flows wealth. For wealth thrives where faith is strong and fear is absent. Faith does not wait for evidence before believing. It believes and then creates evidence. Fear waits for lack and then multiplies it. Faith steps out on the invisible and finds it solid beneath its feet. Fear clings to the visible and watches it slip away. The psalm spoken with conviction trains the soul to walk in faith, to speak abundance even when lack seems present, to declare wealth even when pockets are empty, to proclaim victory even when battles rage. This faith creates the evidence it declares, for the unseen bows to the sound of truth. And so each night you lift your voice in the psalm. You are choosing faith over fear. You are choosing expansion over contraction, abundance over lack, truth over illusion. You are canceling fear, not with force, but with vibration, with the sound of the living word, with the declaration of divine law that knows no lack. And as faith grows stronger, fear grows weaker, until at last it is no more. And only faith remains, guiding you into the wealth that has always been yours. So many spend their lives chasing money as though it were a fugitive running from them, always just out of reach, always around the next corner. They run harder, work longer, and exhaust themselves in pursuit of something that seems to slip away the moment they grasp at it. But money was never meant to be chased. Prosperity was never designed to flee from you. Wealth, by divine law, is not a quarry to be hunted, but a river that flows. When you align yourself with the eternal current of truth, wealth does not run from you. It runs to you. It seeks you out. It finds you. It attaches itself to you. For your vibration becomes irresistible to it. The psalm spoken at night with faith is not just a prayer. It is a magnet. Each word you speak radiates energy, and that energy carries a frequency. Money, being divine energy clothed in form, is drawn to frequencies of faith, gratitude, and expectancy. When you declare the psalm with conviction, you are sending out a signal into the unseen, a beacon of light that wealth recognizes and rushes toward. You no longer need to strain or chase, for the word itself pulls money toward you. You rest in faith, and wealth seeks you out. Think of how bees are drawn to flowers. The flower does not chase after the bee, pleading for attention. It simply blooms. Its fragrance and beauty call the bees to it. So too is the soul that declares the psalm. In the fragrance of faith, in the beauty of truth, wealth comes buzzing, eager to circulate, eager to bless. You need not chase. You need only bloom in alignment with divine law. The psalm is the act of blooming, the opening of your spirit, the release of fragrance into the unseen. And wealth, like the bees, comes in response. Chasing wealth is rooted in fear. It is the belief that you are separate from supply, that you must run after it before it runs away. But divine law teaches that supply is already yours. Wealth is not hiding from you. It is waiting for you to align with it. When you read the psalm, you declare that alignment. You remind your soul that abundance is natural, that prosperity is your birthright, that money has ears and responds to the sound of truth. Suddenly, instead of running after opportunities, you find opportunities running after you. Instead of begging for provision, you find provision seeking you out in unexpected ways. Wealth is not random, it follows law. Just as a compass needle always points north, wealth always points to faith. It gravitates toward those who are in harmony with divine supply. The psalm spoken in faith places you in that harmony. It shifts your inner compass. aligning you with the magnetic pull of prosperity. And once aligned, wealth cannot help but find you. It is drawn as surely as rivers are drawn to the sea, as surely as light is drawn to open space, as surely as sound echoes in the valley. The law cannot be broken. Wealth must respond to the vibration of faith, and it must seek you out. Consider how often blessings arrive uninvited. A gift from a friend, a door opening unexpectedly, a business idea appearing in a dream, an opportunity presenting itself by chance. These are not accidents, they are evidence of wealth seeking you. The psalm does not create these blessings. It clears the way for you to recognize and receive them. It trains your soul to expect, and expectation is the open hand that wealth looks for. A closed hand of fear repels money, but an open hand of faith draws it near. The night is especially powerful for this alignment. In the quiet hours, when the noise of the world has faded, your words echo more deeply into the unseen. As you speak the psalm before sleep, you are planting signals into the spiritual atmosphere. While you rest, those signals call out, summoning wealth, summoning opportunity, summoning provision. Just as a lighthouse calls ships from the sea, your words of faith call wealth from the unseen. And by morning, the tide of prosperity is already moving toward you. You may ask, how can wealth seek me when I have no visible channels? But wealth is not limited to channels you can see. It does not need your job alone, nor your business alone, nor the means you expect. It has infinite ways to reach you. When you align through the psalm, wealth begins to weave its way through channels unknown, arranging meetings, stirring hearts, shifting circumstances, until what once seemed impossible become inevitable. Wealth does not need you to chase it. It needs you to be still, to align, to speak, and to trust. And in that trust, wealth finds you. Imagine standing still in a field with the wind blowing. You do not chase the wind. You open your arms and let it touch you. You do not run after the air. You breathe it in. Wealth, as divine energy, moves the same way. It is already moving, already circulating, already seeking expression. The psalm positions you to receive it. You breathe it in and it fills your life. You do not labor to make the wind blow. You simply open to it. You do not labor to make wealth exist. You simply open to it, and when you open, it comes, for it has been seeking you all along. There are those who seem to attract money without effort, and others who struggle endlessly without result. The difference is not luck but law. Those who attract have aligned themselves consciously or unconsciously with the vibration of abundance. Those who struggle have aligned themselves with fear, doubt, or lack. The psalm shifts that alignment. It is the great recalibration of the soul. Each verse sung, spoken, or whispered is a tuning of your inner instrument to the frequency of prosperity. And once tuned, wealth hears the music and comes dancing to you, for it cannot resist its own vibration. Wealth is not an enemy to be conquered, nor a stranger to be pursued. It is a friend looking for you, a servant eager to fulfill its purpose. It is drawn to the soul that is ready, the heart that is open, the voice that speaks truth. When you read the psalm, you send forth the invitation. You say to wealth, here I am, aligned, receptive, expectant, and wealth, hearing the call, begins to move in your direction. It cannot ignore you, for your words have summoned it. Your faith has magnetized it, and your vibration has welcomed it. The truth is that wealth is already seeking you even before you call, but fear blocks its path. Doubt shuts the door, and unworthiness hides the invitation. The psalm removes these barriers. It opens the door, clears the path, and raises the light that says, I am ready. And when that readiness is present, wealth finds you swiftly, abundantly, unmistakably. It comes as the answer to your declaration, the evidence of your faith, the manifestation of divine law at work in your life. Beloved, tonight you have discovered a secret hidden in plain sight. The power of the spoken word, the truth that money is divine energy, the mystery of the psalm as a key of release, the law that faith cancels fear, and the glorious reality that wealth will not run from you, but will seek you out. The psalm you speak is not just sound. It is a vibration, a command, a signal that reaches into the unseen and draws forth provision from every corner of the universe. When you align with it, money becomes not a struggle but a flow, not a burden but a blessing, not something to chase, but something magnetized to your very presence. This is the divine order. You are not meant to beg for wealth, nor labor in endless toil for what is already yours. You are meant to stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. You are meant to speak His word and watch the rivers of supply open wide. You are meant to declare your abundance and rest in the faith that it is so. When you read the psalm tonight, do it with expectancy. Let each word be a seed planted in the garden of the unseen. As you sleep, the angels of provision go to work. The laws of circulation begin to move, and doors swing open in places you never imagined. You do not need to know how it will come. You only need to know that it will. The how belongs to the infinite, but the yes belongs to you. So rest tonight in faith. Speak the psalm with conviction. Release your fears into the silence and trust that money, opportunity, and divine wealth are already on their way to you. Drawn by the power of your word, drawn by the law of faith, drawn by the magnetic pull of your expectancy, wealth will find you, abundance will overflow, prosperity will become your natural state. For the word never returns void, and the psalm you speak tonight is the very key that opens the gates of divine.